We're at McDonald's and there's an insane deal here. Do you see? We have an upsized meal, fries, and a burger, and they give you free 2-piece chicken McCrispy. Good value. Why not?
And then you order a Big Mac.
Okay, hello, and hello. So hi, you're watching Greg's Big Eats, and I'm here at Pasir Panjang Food Center to talk about a stall that sells a very unique dish called Hainanese Herbal Mutton Soup. The stall's name is called Ivy's Hainanese Herbal Mutton Soup. It is very famous and has been featured many times in the media. So it is almost like a pilgrimage for me to actually feature this stall. Started by now 54-year-old Max Ng and his wife Ivy, the stall has been around for more than 2 decades, since 2000. Max was inspired to learn how to make Hainanese mutton soup from Ivy's aunt when he tasted some of her soup one day. They first set up at Kim Kiap Palm Market and Food Center at Toa Payoh Lorong 7, but shifted to Pasir Panjang Food Center in 2016. So come, let's have a taste. Now, before I jump into the rest of the video, first a word from our sponsor, Surfshark VPN. Now, if you don't know what a VPN is, it's basically a service that protects you while you're using the internet. It stops unwanted data collection, blocks malware, and secures your browsing. But best of all, you can get access to more shows and videos on Netflix and Disney+. So if you don't know by now, streaming services in Singapore like Netflix only have a restricted number of shows and movies on it. But there is so much more content on Netflix in other countries. Unfortunately, you can't access that content. But with a VPN, you can. Just switch over to a different country and it will seem that you are watching Netflix from the USA, the UK, or anywhere in the world. So if you're interested, you can use my coupon code GREGSBIGEATS, and that'll give you 83% off the price and 3 months free. I have the link in the description box below, and now back to the review. You have the spine today, is it?
Spine, yes.
Ah, okay. Can I have the spine and the tendon mix?
Small one?
A medium one.
Medium.
Ah,
That one.
yeah.
You have to take your time, man.
Take my time to eat this,
Take your time.
I'll eat one, don't worry. Thank you very much, Thank you. Okay, I'm back from the store and I got his herbal mutton soup but it's a bit of a change in plans I originally wanted to order his standard mutton soup but I saw that he has got the special parts available, which is actually not so easy to come by. Sometimes he has it, sometimes he doesn't. So I got those instead. So it's a bit tambalik It's a bit upside down this vlog. So what I have here is the medium portion of their herbal mutton soup, but it doesn't use the normal mutton parts. It has got the tendon and it has got the lamb spine. In addition to the tulang and the spine, he also used to sell the lamb shank, but that was only available when he had a factory to do the main cooking. He doesn't have a factory anymore. Too stressful, he said. So he decided to phase out the lamb shanks from the menu. And now all the cooking is done on site at this hawker stall. Okay, first of all, let's get things out of the way okay? This is not cheap. Be prepared to fork out a bit of cash for this This is $31 for this clay pot. But it looks like it can feed 2 people or 1 Greg so that's not too bad. And then so besides the tendon and the lamb spine bits, you have a few things here. You also have some bean cut skin, tofu puffs, very big black wood ear fungus, black fungus, and a decent portion of that all-important broth right over here. And then some large chopped spring onions on top. Okay, so trying the all-important broth first. My god. Now this is amazing. There's a medium, very complex savouriness, and there's a bit of oil richness, and the stock is thick, and there's a multitude of flavours going on here. Okay, there are mainly 3 there's herb and spice flavours, about 14 spices in all. Flavours like star anise, cloves, cinnamon and ginger. But there isn't any spice residue in the soup. It strains the broth so that there's none of that grainy feel when you drink it. Then there's the mutton stock flavor, and finally there's the flavor of nam yu or red fermented bean curd. So what's great is that there's this great balance going on where no one flavor actually dominates. It's not too herbal, not too gamey, and not too beany. The flavors are a bit held back, yet you can taste all the three elements, and it blends together very nicely. Simply amazing. And when the flavor gets too same, right, there are scatterings of very sweet wolfberries inside. So stuff like this. So I'm going to take two, let's say two. I'm going to have it with some of the soup. Very nice. Oh. And that introduces a burst of sweetness when you bite into one. The reason why these wolfberries are sweeter than usual is because they haven't been boiled to death. So everything is very nice, but the one downside is that you cannot ask for extra broth. What you get is basically what you get, but it's more than enough. So comparing this to other Chinese mutton soups, right? Chinese mutton soups in Singapore tend to be Teochew lah. So that means that the broth is very clean. A mix of stock, ginger and tonic herbs, and it's commonly light on savouriness. For Hainanese mutton soup, the soup is thicker, more robust, with a more complex savouriness. And there are no tonic herbs. Instead, there's a focus on the spices and the nam yu. So next, the ingredients, okay? First, the meat. Let's see whether I can get some of the spine first. There we go. That's why they call it the spine. Probably easier to see the spine the other way, see? Okay, one thing about the spine is that it is very hard to find. Not many stalls sell it lah. So the lamb spine itself, right, is literally the spine of the lamb with the meat around it. It's beautifully cooked, extremely soft meat, with some gristle, sinew and connective tissue. So it's like oxtail but with a bit more meat on it lah. There's obviously a lot of small crevices here and there, so you need to use your hands lah, and just dig out the meat and all the gristle and all that stuff. The spine meat, I mean, the meat generally at the stall is very, very soft, but the spine meat is softer than usual lah. And it's got very little gaminess. That's because Max actually marinates the meat with the nam yu lah, to get rid of the smell halfway through the cooking process. The source of the meat varies, it's either from New Zealand or Australia. Okay, the other part of the spine which you should look forward to, right, is actually the spinal cord itself. Let's see whether I can dig it out. Wonderful. It's great because it's got this unique, slightly creamy, slightly bouncy texture. Very nice. Okay, next, the tendon. Now, there are actually two parts when he gives you the tendon. Is that first, there's the tendon itself. Oh, simply amazing. Oh, look at this. Look at the stuff inside. Beautifully cooked. Amazing. So, if you don't know what the tendon is, basic explanation for newbies is the connective tissue that helps connect the muscle to the bone. Here it is stewed very well, even though it doesn't look like it's stewed very well. It's got a soft bite with a bit of firmness, and it's got all this lovely richness to the flavour. Not only does it taste good, right, tendon is actually really good for your bone density, and it helps prevent bone mineral loss. So the other part of the tendon is obviously the bone marrow. So let me try and take one out. Look at this, oh my god, look at it, look at it, oh man. Now that's simply brilliant. Yeah, I just died and went to heaven. Woo. Again, amazing, beautifully cooked, wonderfully rich, and it's got a wonderful melting texture. It's like eating meat butter. Again, very good for your health, contains protein, vitamin B12, riboflavin, and lots of collagen for skin health and joint pain. And yes, it's got lots of saturated fat, but I've always said that saturated fat is good for you. basic explanation is that the human body needs saturated fat, especially your brain and cell membranes. If you don't have enough a day, right, it won't actually perform optimally, and then it will lead to cellular and neurological diseases. Alright, next let's talk about the other ingredients. So besides meat, what you get is the tofu skin. The pieces are fairly large. That adds a small amount of fried richness into the dish. You also get tofu puffs. Cut fairly sizable, and it's nice for sopping up all the gravy. Lastly, you get the black fungus. They are huge, and it's not cut up, and it's bouncy and crunchy with a bit of softness. Very nice. Now lastly, there's the chili sauce, and this is the other highlight. Let's try some with the meat. Goes very nicely with the meat. It's moderately spicy, slightly sweet. I believe it used to be more sour in the past, but now it's slightly sweeter. And there's a nice complex light to medium rounded savouriness. Lots of herb flavours like blue ginger or lime leaf and maybe garlic. Okay, a side note, you can also request for mutton fat. Max will give it to you free of charge, but he won't always have it. But he tends to throw it away as, frankly, there is no real demand for it. Many customers believe that fat is unhealthy. He also strains the oil, as people don't like oily broth. I, on the other hand, think that fat and oil, the animal kind only, is healthy, so I always ask for it. Now he serves the mutton soup with rice, but I didn't order rice today because I just wanted the mutton soup instead. I'll show you this. This is the lamb cord. It's easier to see from here. See inside there? That's the spinal cord. The lamb spinal cord. Okay, finished. So that was a look at the medium portion of the lamb spine and tendon soup, mutton soup, at Ivy's Hainanese Herbal Mutton Soup. I'll be back one more time to order their basic mutton soup bowl. And this is what 90% of the people will order when they come to this store. I'll order that the next time I'm here. So see you in a few days. Okay, I'm back at Ivy's Hainanese Herbal Mutton Soup, and I've ordered the standard mutton soup. The mutton soup which 90% of the people will actually order here. So I ordered the medium portion again because I'm a greedy pig. Okay. And for this soup in particular, right, it is basically meat from the lamb flap. They call it the lamb flap, which is basically the stomach area minus the organs. Okay, so before I go on and talk about that, right, let me try the soup again. Fantastic as usual. So let me try the meat, and then I will sort of like talk about the different parts. So I've got this generic part here. Oh, fantastic today. God. He said that he cooked it very, very well today, and it is very well cooked. The meat is basically very well cooked through. It's very soft, but yet it's still got a firmness to it, and it's got very little gaminess. So let me talk about the three different types of meat which is available here. Okay. First one is the this one. There's this one which looks like a rib. Soft meat, very nice. Oh, fat, sinew. Generally, meat close to the bone is going to be soft anyway, so fantastic. Then you get the there are soft bones inside. Oh. So it's got less meat, more connective tissue. This will obviously have a little bit more sinew and gristle and very nice, But there's still meat, as you can see. And the last is really just meat lah. It's got no bones or soft bones or anything like that. One. Still got a lot of sinew and connective tissue and very soft fat and meat. Very nice lah. So I've got some soup, some meat, and I've got one black fungus. Maybe I can add one wolfberry on top. Oh, look at that. That looks like a wonderful bite right there. Whew. Oh, whew. Absolutely fantastic. Here's another lamb rib. Look at that gorgeousness. Oh. Okay, so that was a look at Ivy's Hainanese Herbal Mutton Soup. And if you're a foodie, you should already know of the stall. It's very famous and it's won many awards. But would I travel half across Singapore to eat here? Absolutely yes. While there are still a fair number of stalls selling Chinese mutton soup, this is the only stall I know of that sells the Hainanese style of Chinese mutton soup. If you've never tried it, it is a dish that you should definitely try at least once in your life. But as for whether you like it for the rest of your life, that depends. This is a sort of stall where if you don't get it, you'll never get it. They'll find it too expensive or too heaty or too muttony. And that explains why the stall doesn't get long queues. However, it does have a very strong hardcore fan base. And they keep on coming back over and over again. They are the ones who really get what the stall is all about lah. And I count myself as one of them. Even despite the high prices that this stall charges, for me the prices are justified. And it's really because this stall has a no-compromise approach to Hainanese mutton soup. And to find a no-compromise approach to any hawker food these days, right, not just mutton soup, is actually getting increasingly rare in current times. So thanks for watching another episode of Greg's Beat Eats, where I eat through the whole of Singapore. If you like this episode, give it a like, subscribe, and comment below, and turn on the notifications bell. And I'll see you in the next one for more, and much more